Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Shamuna Tira Vanachari Shamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Radha Nata Radha Radha Nata Radhe Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privaracharya Asutasara Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privaracharya Asutasara Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadik Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Radharanath ki jai, Srimad Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gau Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna devotees, so we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text 53. Etad rupam anudhyayam atma sudhim abhipsatam yad bhakti yoga bhadadhya Swadharmam anusistatam Etarupa anudhyayam Atma sudhim abhipsatam Yad bhakti yoga bhayadha Swadharma anustistatam Swadharma anutisatam. Again. Etad rupa anudhyayam. Atma sudham abhipsatam. Yad bhakti yoga bhayada. Swadharma anutisatam. Etad rupa anudhyayam anusitam vipsatam yad bhakti yoga bhadaya swadharmam anutisatam etad rupa anudhyayam Natstim Vipsatam Etad rupa madhudhyayam anusudhim abhipsatam yad bhakti yoga bhadaya swadharmam anutisatam. So we'll do the word for word. Etad, this, rupam, form, anudhyayam, must be meditated upon, Atma, self, Sudhim, purification. Abhipsatam, of those who are desiring so. Yat, that which. Bhakti Yoga, the devotional service. Abhayadha, factual fearlessness. Swadharmam, one's own occupational duties. Anutissatam, executing. So the translation, my dear Lord, those who are desiring to purify their existence must always engage in meditation upon your lotus feet, as described above. Those who are serious about executing their occupational duties and who want freedom from fear must take to this process of bhakti yoga. So you may repeat, my dear Lord, those who desire to purify their existence must always engage in meditation upon your lotus feet, as described above. Those who are serious about executing their occupational duties and who want freedom from fear must take to this process of bhakti yoga. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is said that the transcendental name, form, pastimes, and entourage of the Lord cannot be appreciated by blunt material senses. Therefore, one has to engage himself in devotional service so that the senses may be purified and one can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here, however, it is indicated that those who are constantly engaged in meditation on the lotus feet of the Lord are certainly purified of the material contamination of the senses and are thus able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. The word meditation is very popular in this age among the common people, but those who do not know the actual meaning of meditation, but they do not know the actual meaning of meditation. However, from the Vedic literature, we learn that the yogis are always absorbed in meditation upon the lotus feet of the Lord. Dhyana vista tadgyatena manisha prashyanti yam yogina. Bhagavatam 12:13-1. This is the real business of the yogis, to think that the lotus feet of the Lord, Lord Shiva, therefore advises that one who is actually serious about purification must engage himself in this type of meditation or in the mystic yoga system, which will help him not only to see the Lord within constantly, but to see him face to face and become his associate in Vaikuntha or Goloka. The word swadharmam, as in swadharmam anutissatam, indicates that the system of an ashrama, which indicates the occupational duties of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and Sudra, and which is the perfect institution for humanity, must be supported by bhakti yoga if one at all wants security of in life. Generally, people think that simply by executing the occupational which indicates the occupational duties of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, which is the perfection of humanity. He must be supported by the bhakti yoga if one at all wants security in life. People generally think that simply by executing the occupational duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra, or the duty of the brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, or sannyas, one becomes fearless and securely attains liberation. But factually, unless all these occupational duties are accompanied by bhakti yoga, one cannot become fearless. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are descriptions of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, etc. But unless one comes to the point of Bhakti Yoga, these other yogas cannot help one attain the highest perfectional stage, perfection of life. In other words, Bhakti Yoga is the only means of liberation. We find this conclusion also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in a discussion between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Rai regarding a human being's liberation from the material world. In that discussion, Ramananda Rai referred to the execution of varnashrama, and Lord Chaitanya indicated that the varnashrama's dharma was simply external, ahobhaya. Lord Chaitanya wanted to impress upon Ramananda Rai that simply by executing the duties of an ashram dharma, one is not guaranteed liberation. Finally, Ramananda Rai referred to the process of bhakti yoga, sthane sthita sruchigatam tanuvan manobhi, Bhagavatam 10:14-3. Regardless of one's condition of life, if you practice bhakti yoga, which begins with hearing Shruti-gatam, the transcendental message of the Lord through the mouths of the devotees, he gradually conquers the unconquerable God. God is known to be unconquerable, but one who submissively hears the word of a self-realized soul conquers the unconquerable. The conclusion is that if one is serious about liberation, he not only should execute the occupational duties of an ashram dharma, but should also engage in bhakti yoga by beginning hearing from a realized soul. This process will help the devotee conquer the unconquerable Supreme Personality of Godhead and become his associate after giving up the material body. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhubhevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, this is quite a lengthy purport, but we'll try to say something. So, we find that in this purport, Prabhupada is indicating that we should follow our swadharma, right, which is like Vinashram dharma, basically in whichever varna we're situated in, we should execute our duties. If one is a grihastha, he should execute his grihastha duties, right, of raising children, bring them up, and seeing to his household, looking after his wife, and like this. No matter how hard household life is, we don't think about it. When we fall in love, basically, we do not think about the consequences that comes from it. But Prabhupada is, in his different purports, he basically spells it out for us that it's actually household life is very difficult to endure, right? One has to go through so many disturbances that are there in the household life, and it all depends, but we can purify our household life by accepting the Grihastha ashram, which is to engage everything in the service of the Lord. And if we engage everything in the service of the Lord, and we understand that my wife is a servant of Krishna, my children are servants of Krishna, and engage them in Krishna's service, then it becomes more tolerable, right? Otherwise, out there in the material world, household life is very, very difficult. But if we engage it in the Grihastha ashram, dedicating everything to Krishna, then it becomes blissful, right? So, and then brahmachari, right? Grihastha, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. So these ashrams are there, and we should, engage in these ashrams, in whichever ashram we are situated in. Engage in it by always thinking of Krishna. In this way, when we're thinking of the Lord, then our ashram becomes blissful and peaceful, right? Brahmachari, the mind is always agitated, the senses are agitated like this. But if we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, then it becomes purified, as Prabhupada is stating here. It becomes purified. So we should engage all our senses in the service of the Lord. The example is given of Ambarish Maharaj. He used his eyes to see the beautiful form of the Lord. He used his hands to cleanse the temple of the Lord. He used his legs to go to the holy places on parikram, right? He used his mouth to eat the remnants of the Lord, like this. So all the senses can be engaged in the service of the Lord and be purified, and they can get purified by this process of bhakti yoga. So the senses are very strong and impetuous, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, but we should learn how to control them by diverting our mind, not to engage on the bodily platform, but to engage in Krishna consciousness, thinking of the Lord, And how do we think of the Lord constantly? By chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here Prabhupada is saying that we should, so he's talking about the other, so those were the ashrams that we spoke about, and the Varnas are the Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Sudra. So, like this, if one is a Sudra, one can. That's a very, very exalted position in one sense, although we talk about it as in a very low form, being a Sudra, because a Sudra means servant of the other four Varnas. But we are all meant to be servants of Krishna. So in this way, whether we are situated in whatever ashram, we should always be the servant of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this way, when we learn how to be a servant and not a master, right? On the master position, you want everyone to do things for you, right? But when you learn to be a servant, then you can serve Krishna peacefully, right? And not make Krishna your order supplier. Krishna, I want this and I want that. So that's like you the master, and Krishna, you make Krishna your servant, right? So we should not do like this. So we should always serve Krishna with whatever means we have, with whatever paraphernalia we have in our possession that Krishna supplied to us, we should actually serve him with all those things. So in this way, we learn how to be a servant of the Supreme Lord. And then, that's the lowest form, the Sudra, right? And then the Brahmana is the head of society. And not that he is the boss but he is the head of society in that he is actually the greatest servant, because he's serving Shishi Radharadhana Ki Jai. Yeah, so the Brahmana is actually giving the rest of the ashrams he's giving them spiritual knowledge, right? So when he's giving them spiritual knowledge, then that, it's like a reciprocation between the Brahmanas and the other classes of men, because then by disseminating this knowledge, to the other classes of men, then he becomes purified and they become purified, and in this way there's a reciprocation. So when one listens to a Brahmana or to a Pandit basically, then there is some remuneration that one has to give at the end. So in this way, and you find that in Hinduism basically, when a priest comes to do some ritual at your house, then you offer him something, some money, some clothing, like this. So this is there in this ashram, right? So because it is stated that the Brahmana does not work, but he goes house to house disseminating this knowledge, and the grihastas then in return, they give him something to eat, they offer him respects, wash his feet, give him a place to sit and for him to speak transcendental knowledge, and then give him something to eat, at the end, a place to rest, like this. So in this way there's a reciprocation between all the 4 ashrams and varnas, like this. So and the Kshatriya's duty is meant to protect society, right? So so like this, so he protects the Brahmanas, he protects the Sudras, he protects the other ashrams basically, and in this way he this is his duty, right? And we find that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, he assumed these different roles when he was here, when he was present 5,000 years ago. He was born in a Vaishya community, right? So so I didn't speak about the Vaishyas. So the Vaishyas are meant to provide food for the other classes of men, right? By farming and by cow protection, basically. So when Krishna was here, he was born of Kshatriya parents, right? And then he went to Vrindavan, and he was basically brought up by Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, Mother Yashoda. So in this way, he was brought up in a Vaishya community, and later on he went to Dwaraka, and there he assumed the position of like a king, a princely, he was on the princely order basically, like a Kshatriya as well. So in this way we find that and then on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was riding the chariot of Arjuna, and that's a Sudra position. A driver, like he basically is like a Sudra position. So in this way, Krishna assumed these different roles, but he's none of these. He doesn't fit in any of these roles. He's transcendental to that. In that, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He does not fit into any of these roles, right? But he assumed these roles in his different pastimes, and that's how we are able to appreciate Krishna, right? So like this, in the early days of ISKCON also, the devotees had, some devotees worked, and whatever they earned, they gave to Prabhupada, and some were taxi drivers like this. I think it was Jayananda Prabhu, right? He was like a taxi driver, and then he would work, and he would actually give his earnings to Srila Prabhupada in order to push on this movement. So like this, and when you are Krishna conscious, basically, it doesn't matter what role one plays, right? But as long as one is engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, then he is purified. So here meditation is being explained by Prabhupada, and he says that in today's yoga, this word yoga is very loosely used, and people want to do yoga. Basically, in today's terms, it translates as exercises, right? And bodily exercises. So people want to be fit, they want to be slim and trim, and so they engage in yoga. So, but Prabhupada says here, yoga actually means linking up, and linking up to who? To the Supreme Lord, right? When one links up to the Supreme Lord, so that is yoga, and meditation. So meditate on what? Right? And he says here meditation is also being explained, and people, they go for meditation classes. But what do you meditate upon? Right? I know some classes of people, they meditate on the light, they meditate on, different things. But actually here Lord Shiva is explaining that we should meditate upon the lotus feet of the Lord. Right? So God is personal, he's not an impersonal concept. And although Lord Shiva, came as Sankaracharya and he propagated impersonalism, but still here in the Rudra Gita of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he is explaining that we should worship the Supreme Lord, meditate upon his lotus feet. That means God has a form, right? And he has feet. If he doesn't have a form, how he's going to have a feet? So he has a feet, so we should meditate upon his lotus feet. And not only his lotus feet, but when we take darshan of the Lord in the temple, then we meditate upon his lotus feet and we go up, as Mr. Krishna Prabhu was explaining in his class on Friday, that we meditate on the different rungs of the Lord, the different aspects of the Lord, going up to his lotus face, right, from his lotus feet to his calves, to his thighs, and his abdomen, his chest, and to his lotus face. This is how we are supposed to take darshan, and we can appreciate the Lord's beauty. And by taking darshan like this, then our eyes become purified, right? And our senses become purified, because then we're looking at the arati of the Lord, in the worship of the Lord, and all our senses are becoming purified in this way. So chanting the holy names is purifying as well, because it cleanses the heart. But also temple worship is also, when we worship the deity in the temple, then that's also purifying our senses. Not only the pujari gets the benefit, but all of us who are witnessing the arati also get the benefit. Now this is stated in the Nectar of Devotion. The Nectar of Devotion gives us detailed information about the different, of how to worship the Supreme Lord, basically, right? So if you haven't read Nectar of Devotion, I advise you to please read Nectar of Devotion, study Nectar of Devotion, and understand that everything we do, every detail that we do is, everything that we do is given in detailed explanation of why we do certain things, right? So this is very, very important. And so Nectar of Devotion should be read and understood in that way. So so we are talking about meditating upon the lotus feet of the Lord. And Ramananda Rai in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Lord Chaitanya asked him, like, what's the goal of religion? And then how must one worship the Supreme Lord? And Ramananda Rai, he started on the lowest rung of the ladder, basically, and then he brought him up to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, worshipping the Supreme Lord. And he started off with, talking about these different varanas and ashrams, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, tell me more. And then he spoke about karma yoga. Tell me more. He spoke about dhyana yoga. Tell me more. Like this. And, in this way, he brought him higher and higher. And when he came to this part, here as it is being said here, dhyana vasistata tadgatena manisha prashyanti yam yogam, right? That one should think about the lotus feet of the Lord. So in this way, he brought him to the highest point of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not even that, beyond that, the rasa lila, the worship of the Lord, together with his consort, Srimati Radharani, the conjugal love, basically, right? So this is the highest point of devotional life, is to reach, to worship the Supreme Lord Radha and Krishna together, because Radharani is the energy of the Lord, and she basically, takes us to Krishna. In that, without her mercy, we cannot attain Krishna's lotus feet. So this is how important Radharani is, right? And before that, the spiritual master is very, very important, because then he has attained all this knowledge, and he can disseminate this knowledge unto you. So in this way, we first, approach the spiritual master like this. So in order to gain Krishna, one has to worship his devotees first, right? So, and his devotees can reveal who Krishna is. Otherwise, we just know Krishna, okay, he's there on the altar, but we don't know any deeper aspects of him, right? And we find this in most religions. They know that the God is great, okay? They may not know that God is Krishna, but they know they have some concept of God, that God is great. But how great Krishna is, that they do not know. But the Bhagavatam reveals how great Krishna is, right? In that, in the 10th canto, basically, has a child of 3 days old, right? He kills Putana by sucking out a breast which was poisoned, and he sucked out her life air, right? So as a 3-day-old, so children who are 3 days old, what can they do? All they do is cry for milk, like this, right? They cannot do anything. But here Krishna is 3 days old, and he vanquishes this huge demon, right? It was said she was like 12 miles long. And when the residents of Vrindavan, when she ran out of the house, right, and she assumed this gigantic form as Putana, and that's when Krishna vanquished her. And then when she died, she lay on the ground, and she was like so huge, and Krishna was on her, on her chest, basically. And when the residents of Vrindavan saw this, then Mother Yashoda, she like fainted, and then they went and got Krishna out of her, and in this way, Krishna becomes subordinate to his parents, but at the same time he's showing his chivalrous nature by killing Putana, like this. So this is how great God is, right? And the various demons that he killed in Vrindavan. And also he lifted Govardhan hill. He's just 7 years old, on his little finger of his left hand. He lifted Govardhan hill. So we cannot even lift a pen or anything with this little finger. We cannot lift it, right? And although it may be so light and so meager, we cannot lift it. Or if we can lift it, for how long can we hold it? But Krishna, he lifted this huge mountain, that's like 26 kilometers around, right? And on his little finger of his left hand for 7 days and 7 nights without eating or drinking. Now tell me this is not great, for a little child to do this, right? So Krishna, he assumes the form of a baby. He assumes the form of this little child like this. But he's full in all his potencies. Even in his different avatars, he's fully in all his potencies. And so this is his greatness. And although he expands into so many avatars, still he doesn't lose his individuality. He still remains Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Etacham sakulapam sham Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam. How's the last verse goes? The last section. Okay, I forget it. So Indrari Vyakulam Lokam. I forget. So Krishna, basically, he is the source of all incarnations, right? And although he is one individual person, but yet he expands himself into so many forms, right? As Nishingadev, as Vamanadev, has Kurma, Matsya, the fish incarnation, the tortoise incarnation, the half man, half lion, Nishingadev, and he performs so many beautiful pastimes by his different incarnations. So this is the greatness of God. He can do like this. We cannot do like this. We may have some potency of the Supreme Lord. We may have his qualities, but not in quantity, right? So this is his greatness. And sometimes we think that we are so great because it's our false ego that's dictating to us that we are great, but how great are we, right? As Mr. Krishna Prabhu in his class, he was saying that we are 1/10,000th of the tip of our hair. So you cannot even measure it. There's no scientific instrument that can measure the soul, basically, the dimension of the soul. There's no scientific instrument. So, and therefore, the conclusion of the scientists is that there's no soul. Right? And Prabhupada, time and again, he defeats this argument, right? That he says that the symptom of the soul is consciousness. Right? If I pinch you, you will cry or you will retaliate, right? So that means you are conscious. And because you are conscious, then that means the soul is within the body. So because the symptom of the soul is consciousness. So, and when the soul leaves the body, then the body is dead, right? You can do whatever you want to the body, chop it up, cut it, burn it, bury it. It'll not retaliate, right? So it's the soul that gives the body importance. Otherwise, this body is dead matter. It's just dead matter, right? And we are walking in these vehicles of dead matter. We are the soul, right? And we are entrapped within this body, and basically, so we are animating this body, and once we leave this body, then it goes back to its elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, like this. So in this way, we can understand that we are not this body, but spirit souls. And Bhagavatam further explains how we are not this body. He says, if you look at the elements of the body, it's made of blood, pus, urine, stool, and so many obnoxious things. And are you this? Are you the blood? Are you the stool? Are you pus? Think about it. You're none of these things, right? And if I call you, just just hypothetically, we'll just say, if I call you, hey stool, come here, right? You'll get, well, how will you react? Tell me. Yes, Madhurya? So you're not stool, right? And you will get embarrassed, and you will also become angry if I call you that, you know. So we are none of these things, right? But yet, our whole lives we are trained to think that we are this body. Our whole lives, you know, we pamper the body. We think that I am this body, and everyone related to me are their bodies. So, you know, but we are none of these things. We are neither stool, no urine, no pus, no blood, you know, all these things, all these excretions from the body. We are none of these things. But yet, we delve so much on the bodily platform that, you know, and we retaliate so much. So in this way, we should understand that we are none of these things, obnoxious things. This body is obnoxious, right? And it is dead. It is matter. It is dead. So it is only we then who are residing within this body that actually is the true, is reality, basically. And then we should connect with the supreme reality, which is Krishna, the supreme absolute truth, like this. And how do we do that? By engaging in bhakti yoga, as Prabhupada is saying, meditating upon the Supreme Lord, and not just like sitting in a yoga position and meditating, you know, on the Lord. That's another class of people called the yogis, that they do like this, but it's not recommended in this age, because in this age there's so many distractions. So we should use our mind not to be distracted by the material world, but to engage in devotional service of the Lord. And in this way, by engaging in the devotional service of the Lord, then the mind becomes peaceful, right? So we can engage like this by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the foremost hearing, chanting Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, right? Chanting, hearing and remembering the Supreme Lord, hearing to his glories from the Srimad Bhagavatam, studying the Bhagavatam, and getting deeper into the knowledge of the Lord, and worshipping, becoming a servant of the Lord, becoming a friend to the Lord, Dasyam Sakyam, Atmani Vedanam, right? Worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Archanam, like that. So in this way, when we do like this, engaging these 9 processes of devotional service, then this body is basically used for the service of the Lord. And in that way, although this body is a bad bargain, right? But this bad bargain can be used to gain a higher bargain, and that is the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. So we can do like this, engage in the bhakti yoga. So we'll just read the last part of this purport again, and see what Prabhupada has to say here. God is known to be unconquerable, but one who submissively hears the words of his self-realized soul conquers the unconquerable. So yes, God is unconquerable, right? He cannot be conquered. But if we engage in submissively hearing about the Supreme Lord's pastimes, about his qualities, his paraphernalia, like this, when we engage like this in hearing about the Supreme Lord, who is unconquerable, then we can conquer him. So this is what Prabhupada is saying. The conclusion is that if one is serious about liberation, he not only should execute the occupational duties of an ashram dharma, but should also engage in bhakti yoga by beginning hearing from a self-realized soul. So yes, so like this, we should hear from the spiritual master, we should hear from devotees who have this knowledge, and in this way, when we hear like this, then we can purify our existence and conquer the unconquerable. And the last part of this purport, Prabhupada is saying, this process will help the devotee conquer the unconquerable Supreme Personality of Godhead and become his associate after giving up the material body. So also Prabhana Prabhu on Sunday, he was speaking so well, and he said that we can actually attain Krishna in this one lifetime by engaging in the process that Prabhupada has given us, chanting 16 rounds and engaging in devotional service, right? We can attain the Supreme Lord's lotus feet in one lifetime, because Prabhupada is so merciful. He gave us this concession. We are Kali Yuga specimens, right? In this Kali Yuga, we have taken our birth here, but there's one good thing that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given, who is the Supreme Lord, and Prabhupada has propagated these holy names all around the world, and by taking up to the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then we can conquer the unconquerable. So I'll stop here. If anyone has any suggestions, we have 3 minutes. Would like to ask any questions, you're most welcome to do so. Hare Krishna. Yes, Isaiah Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is it no mantra meditation?
Sorry?
Is it bhakti yoga if there's no mantra meditation?
In this Kali Yuga, yeah, I would say yes, because in Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave us the Mahamantra to chant the holy names. But if one just engages in other, processes, there's 9 processes of devotional service, and hearing, chanting, remembering. So there are different personalities that purify themselves or attain perfection by engaging in any one of these processes. But because we are in Kali Yuga, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave us this, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra has the means and ways to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in other ages and, prior to this, like Hanuman, he was just serving the Lord and also chanting Lord Ram's name, and he attained perfection by his service of becoming a servant of the Lord, like this. And Prithu Maharaj engaged in temple worship, and in this way he attained perfection, right? So like this, these 9 personalities are being described, and how they attain perfection by engaging in one of these 9 processes of devotional service, right? Like Sukadev Goswami, he was engaged in chanting or speaking about Krishna, right? And Parikshit Maharaj attained perfection by hearing about the glories of the Lord from Sukadev Goswami. And worshipping the Lord's lotus feet is Lakshmi Devi, right? So like this. Yeah, and I spoke about Prithu Maharaj and Hanuman. And in the end, Bali Maharaj surrendered everything to the Lord, He was a demon, right? And always fighting the demigods, I would say. But at the end, he surrendered everything to the Lord in this way. If you heard the class that I think Smita Krishna Prabhu gave, or Prabhana Prabhu, and they were speaking about how Bali Maharaj, he did not want to give anything to anyone, but the Lord came as Vamanadev, and he begged for 3 steps of land, and in this way he took everything away from Bali Maharaj, and the last step he placed on Bali Maharaj's head. So basically he surrendered everything. So yeah, that's there as well. But in Kali Yuga, we need to engage in these 9 processes of devotional service, and especially hearing and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's the most important. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much for that message that you translated so well from the purport of Srila Prabhupada. In our lack of spiritual alignment with Krishna, the Godhead, is that you put it so simply. Our spiritual relationship have to be so concrete with Him. And in our stepping stone to success, especially when you said the body, soul and mind, and you fitted it so well as a glove. If you talk about your body, you cannot insult your body. When you talk about the soul, you cannot do that. If I deframe you by who you are, by your name, we cannot do that. So we all fit together as a glove in a body, mind and soul. So I just want to thank you because of the spiritual relationship that I've learned right now. And if you don't fit like a glove and getting to know Krishna, you're going to fall and fail somewhere or the other. But the chanting of Krishna is absolutely lovely. And thanks for that. The one I really enjoyed was about the yoga, because out in the world people don't understand the meaning of yoga. This means I'm doing yoga, exercising and just exposing my body in all kinds of angles and situations. But yoga is something that you get closer and closer to Godhead, and so simplicity in it. It's not something that I have to struggle to. It's just about body, mind and soul, and surrendering at the lotus feet of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So all that we are speaking is what Prabhupada is saying. We're just repeating his words, right? Hare Krishna. Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.